welcome to another random replay cast. And today I'm gonna feature a ship I think I rarely to not ever featured, and that's the Tier 8 Royal Navy destroyer, the Lightning. Um, there's literally one word what I can say about the Lightning. It's strong for its tier. It's really strong, and it's also on top really strong against Tier 10. Why is that? Well, you sit on a really impressive 5.5 kilometer concealment, which lets you outspot like 95% of the competition. The only ship that outspots you should be the Kagero, and that's it. On tier 10 there is no other ship that can outspot you. So pretty strong ship in that regard. Of course it comes in with the usual Royal Navy traits. You have good maneuverability, but you're not really fast. You have kind of decentish reloading torpedoes, but only 8 kilometers, so that in heavy AA radar games you will have issues. And referring to the AA, yeah, well, mainly non-existent. But as you also maybe saw, there is no carrier in game. There's literally also only one potential radar that I see, which would be the enemy Minotaur, and that's it. So all is set up for a good game. So in that regard, but this game also focuses, or maybe you saw it already in the title, on screening for your team and when to do what and so on and so on. And I'm playing here mainly the screening role for my battleships behind me, or for my fleet that is sitting behind me, and I show you why I tell you why I do certain things, because many people are doing some stuff wrong in my opinion. So first of all, RPF torping. I have RPF now on this ship, recently unlocked it, and reversing into the cap. Basic stuff against tier 10. I mean, I'm still in a good spot here, but my HP pool is, compared to other ships on tier 10, especially destroyers, not the highest. It's doable, but you don't have a heal, so you have to play a bit more conservative when it comes to that. The Z23 is also here in the cap and smokes up for whatever reasons. That's a thing I would never recommend, even though being in a Z23 is a bit iffy. It's not the original cap contester, since it has 6.2 kilometer concealment, which is not really helpful. So I can understand he can sit in the cap with Hydro. I can do the same, but of course my spotting gets denied in that regard. One enemy Lightning is spotted. He's of course went in way too aggressive, a thing I can never recommend doing, especially when you don't know where the enemy radar ship is. But you see it constantly. People are doing exactly that. They always wanna do it to the max, and I can tell you that guy is paying the price immediately. And that's of course how you not play destroyer if you want to survive a bit longer in the game itself. Rate of fire on the guns is of course really good. The HE alpha is pretty good. Somehow I missed this volley for whatever reasons. And now I'm able to spot for my team, and the torpedoes that are flying into this smoke are either the Minotaur, Mogami, or Shimakaze torpedoes. My Benson overextended, did the same thing. And my Z23 set too long, broadside in the smoke, couldn't turn out because it's a really sluggish ship in time, even with Hydro running, and 8 torpedoes. So we lost 2 destroyers while the enemy has still 3 destroyers on board. I try to provide vision, so that's my main goal here. I'm not going to smoke up unless I have to. And will spot for my team, so they have targets to shoot at. That's your main job in a destroyer, no matter which destroyer. If you're playing in a Harugumo, yeah, sure, your DPM is useful, but if you're the only destroyer for your team, you better don't smoke up. Your job is to spot in the first place and provide spotting for your team. In Harugumo you can of course spot if necessary, but not all the time. Smoking up here immediately because I know 1-2 volleys and this Benson is gone. And so I can't get shot back or can't get shot by the enemy ships. Just to conserve as much HP as possible. Yeah, taking of course this opportunity to take some pot shots. This Tirpitz is aggressive, so you can try to farm him a bit. Setting a fire, yeah, fire chance is also pretty good, so HE alpha and fire chance is a good thing. The AP is not the AP like on the Jutland or the Daring. Yeah, I'm spotted here by the Shimakaze, but I don't dare to shoot. The reason why? Because my smoke isn't available yet. And I know that there is a Minotaur close, so I absolutely avoid doing this. Same like he does. I can outspot him. Yeah, okay, I get set on fire, which is of course a bit unlucky. Now I'm slowing down to make them overshot me. And change my speed and course afterwards. That's basic like evasion in a destroyer. As soon as you get unspotted, do yourself a favor and yeah, slow down. Don't go full speed because the last star was out. Will aim exactly for that point. If you slow down, they will overshoot you normally, and you will mitigate the damage that you receive. Right. Yeah, that's of course a good spot for me in the Shimakaze. Now I'm opening fire with my smoke available. I know that the Shimakaze doesn't have the smoke available, but I know that still the Minotaur is somewhere there, so I have to be a bit careful. And I can smoke up. Doing exactly the same thing. I've stopped immediately and reverse. Of course, sometimes you eat some damage and you can't do anything about it. Stop shooting here for a second so I don't give them any information where I'm sitting in the smoke. And yeah, since I killed all the vision for my team, I was thinking, okay, maybe I should go out, but then someone spotted the Montana. So I'm taking this always for some pot shots, nothing too special, maybe to set a fire. But that's it mainly. My job is just to provide spotting, torping, and keep my Cape enemy destroyers away from my fleet, so they can't effectively torp them. That's basically what it comes down to, and that's such a winning strategy if you're not selfish. I mean, as I said many times before, the most damage you do anyways in the late game when there are no destroyers anymore. If for example, if you're the only destroyer and there's no radar or enemy destroyer anymore around, you can farm damage like mad. So always keep that in mind. It's always really helpful. Enemy Shimakaze is in the cap. Now really again, really careful. I'm trying to maximize my spotting, but it looks as if the Shimakaze is pushing in. But I saw that the Minotaur is behind there, so of course I'm not shooting. Trying to get out of detection range, play it safe. Still eat the massive volley, which is of course a bit annoying, but nothing I can do about it. And then the Shimakaze vanishes again. So I use the time to get my torpedoes off. And just at that time, I mean, without hydroacoustic, would have been a bit more difficult. So now, of course, with hydroacoustic, the torps are spotted. This is, of course, really helpful as well. You spot not only for yourself, you spot also for your team. Launching some torpedoes in the smoke to hit the Minotaur, maybe even the Shimakaze, depends. and keep my spotting up. As I said, to refer what I started before, most of the damage you do comes in late game. Before that, you just go and spot. Especially in destroyer heavy games, you wanna, how can I say it, provide as much spotting as possible and not smoke up selfishly. This is just what it comes down to all the time. Not opening fire here on the Shimakaze since he has now a lot of HP. Yeah, meanwhile I'm able to finish off the Minotaur.
Our team has taken the lead.
And yeah, it looks pretty good for us, I would say. So still screening the Shimakaze. But sadly my team is not really shooting it. So that's of course the downside if you're spotting constantly and your team doesn't shoot at all. Because there are always other targets. That's mainly a big issue, to be honest. Because, yeah, what can you actually do then? The enemy Shimakaze is doing it not such a bad job, but he's constantly outspotted. I think he has not even concealment expert on his ships. Double purpose torps on the Montana as on the Shimakaze. And yeah, I prevent the Shimakaze of effectively torping my team. And this is really important because it gives my team a lot of breathe or a lot of room to breathe, and yeah, it's super annoying for the Shimakaze. If I would be that enemy Shimakaze, I would be super annoyed. He knows that the majority of his torps won't find a target because they are spotted from me way before. Okay, torps on the Montana look good. Montana did thing that you shouldn't do in a battleship, sitting in smoke close to an enemy destroyer. And yeah, that's what you get for it, right? You receive some
Torpedoes dead ahead.
torpedoes.
Smoke generator activated.
Yeah, he's also flooding on top, which is of course helpful. And yeah, smoke was a bit unnecessary. Now I know where the Shimakaze is, thanks to RPF. So he is like going here. He's desperately trying to do something, but I know, I mean, Royal Navy destroyers are just such good fleet escorts in my opinion. They are so strong when it comes to that. To provide spotting, fight back enemy destroyers that try to come close, can disengage all the time because of the smoke. So this is one of the best destroyer lines that Wargaming ever released in my opinion. Such a good concept, super strong. The only thing they have to watch out is that it's not, I mean, for Jutland it's on debate if the concealment is probably a bit too much. Lightning could be argued as well, but still, I think they are fine like they are more or less. And they're also really competitive, at least in games where there are no carriers, that's for sure. When there are carriers, these ships lose a lot of its strength. Yeah. Shima tries to torp me all the time. I'm picking up my third kill now. And yeah, the game is in the back. Nothing the enemy could do. My team was sitting here comfortably behind me, was able to yeah, just kill the enemy one by one. The enemy should have, what could have the enemy Shimakaze could have done was like be a bit more aggressive by reversing into my spotting range, so he can always speed up and run away in case it's needed. But he always decided to go bow in, which of course reduces first his firepower that he has available, because he has only one front gun. By reversing he can use 2/3 of its firepower. That would be an option. He also could have used some of his HP to tank while he spots me, and give his team some opportunities to do so. And but yeah, I was pretty really pesky towards him, and yeah, I guess he didn't have the most fun in this game, even though he tried and he played very, very solid, I would say. Alright, yeah, ended up in 120,000 damage. Not too impressive, I would say, but it was more. This video is more about how to play Destroyer in a kind of good old days environment without radar and without yeah, well, carriers you had also in the old days, but not so many. Um, so of course you can't apply like this playstyle one by one on the if these factors come in to play as well. Of course, with the radar you have to play even more cautious, and you can get pressured away if the enemy pushes you and your team doesn't back you up, for example. But if you end up in such a game like I did here, then you can do or should do exactly what I did here. Screen for your team, let the enemy DDs, or as soon as the enemy DDs try to get close, you fight them with the support of your team. And of course, it helps if you have cap control, because then the enemy is, of course, uh, inclined to push a bit more and push you away. Also, I didn't go to the mid because what did it would that's a lot of um or a lot of destroyer players make the mistake just going for cap for cap for cap for cap. Why not just staying with one cap when the enemy has one cap and wait what happens? Not trying desperately to get all the caps. That gets you killed very often as well. As the lightning showed and the enemy Benson as well, they just sacrificed their ships just for nothing. Alright, yeah. Ended up top XP. Okay, I'm low tier. That's that's the thing you always have to add in. But 1000 base XP more than the best of our team was definitely an impressive yeah, result, I would say. Yeah, nothing more to add. I mean, the Shimakaze, as I said, he tried his best, but he couldn't achieve too much. Also, that didn't help for him that he doesn't have concealment expert, because I spotted him constantly at 6 kilometers. Yeah, here the distribution of the damage, mainly torpedoes, but the guns are not to underestimate as well on the lightning, especially when you set fires and so on and they tick. Always good for some pot shots. All right. Yeah, that's it about the lightning. We'll go over my recommended build in a sec. All right, as promised, here are the captain perks and the modules of the tier 8 Royal Navy Destroyer the Lightning, which also on top looks really great. I have this camo, I think I purchased it in the arsenal, which looks also really great. So if you like this and you don't like the standard one, even though not standard camo, I mean even these look great. I mean Wargaming did a good job when it came to that, it looks like. Especially with the new FARP schemes. So there's a lot of variety in the game now. Alright, but yeah, let's go to the important part. Consumables, yeah, damage control party, definitely recommended. Smoke, definitely, because you want to have it available as quick as possible. Hydroacoustic surge, not mandatory, but definitely okay. When it comes to modules or upgrades, I think you should go for the hull first. It always gives you more HP, and then afterwards you should go for the increased range on the guns. Modules itself, main armament, because nothing else would make sense in my opinion. Yeah, there's literally nothing else that would make sense. Then propulsion mod, because if your engine got knocked out, even with last stand, you have issues getting away, or it takes a while, so reduce the times that is happening. Hydroacoustic surge, I'm not a big fan. You have already 3 minutes, so you don't need to increase that even further. It just, yeah, I mean, would be too much, I think. I rather stay with survivability tools when I play Destroyer. Then aiming system modification 1, because the others don't bring you anything. The turret traverse is already good, so you don't need that. AA is pretty much garbage on this ship, so also you don't need that. And yeah, then it comes down to aiming system modification 1. Radar shift, because since the Royal Navy destroyers have already an increased what is it? Propulsion. Yeah, you should be able. You can only go for this. The other one makes no sense. You don't need reduced time on fighting fires or something like that. And of course, your biggest asset is your concealment, and therefore you go for the concealment module. When it comes to captain perks, you could argue you could also go for priority target. Not so important on this thing because you won't gunboat that much in the open, I think. So yeah, I mean, normally good players know how many targets are focusing them. As soon as a destroyer plops up, everybody is anyways focusing you. So no in this case, unless you are like gunboat, doesn't make any sense to use something different than preventive maintenance. Priority targets, I mean, you can use it, but you don't need to. Then last stand, survivability expert, concealment expert. Then you can decide either adrenaline rush first, which is a good all-round skill, a really strong all-round skill, because it doesn't only buff your guns, it also buffs the torpedo reload. Then I decided to go for BFT. Torpedoes doesn't make too much sense in my opinion. The torpedoes are not your main armament. On British destroyers, your guns are your main armament, so you go either for BFT or demolition expert. But if you look at the fire chance that you have, it's 10%. I think I have the flex equipped. Let me quick check. Yeah, so it's 8%. You can get it up to 12 with demolition expert, which is absolutely crazy for a destroyer. But I decided to go for the raw DPM against other destroyers, so I have a 10% decrease in gun reload, which reduces it to 4 seconds, and yeah, that's definitely more worth it, especially in regards of fights versus other destroyers. And last but not least, I went for RPF, because I don't see the point of bringing IFHE. Not mandatory. IFHE is only mandatory in my opinion on Jutland or Daring, because of the 114mm guns that can't penetrate destroyer armor without IFHE, so you should definitely go for that. Superintendent was also not necessary in my opinion. So that's basically how my build looks like, and I think it's pretty optimal. I wouldn't change anything here in this regard. Alright, yeah, that's it about the Lightning. Hope you enjoyed the video, and yeah, if you did so, just give it a like. Always appreciated. Apart from that, consider subscription to the channel to support my channel a bit more, and yeah, that's it mainly. So have a good day, and bye bye.